Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is an introduction video in which I am going to introduce the tutorial which I am going to start. So it is basically Python tutorial which I will be teaching using official documentation. So that official documentation you can get it from this link, right? So you can access it from here. Now, the thing is that there are already multiple Python tutorials already available in YouTube, right? So then, what is going to be different in this particular series? What is lacking in the already available tutorials? Let us see those points, and then you will understand that why you should follow this particular tutorial. Okay? So why? What is lacking? Let us understand. So the very first point is citations. That means basically the references, right? So references are missing in all the tutorials which are present in YouTube because the teachers over there, they teach the concepts, right? But then from where they're teaching what is the standard reference, that is somewhere missed, that is not mentioned most of the time, right? And because of that, what happens, students think that how magically the teacher is learning everything, right? That also according to the versions, right? Like in Python 2, what are the features, which features got removed, which features got added in Python 3, right? So all of these things, it sounds very magical that how suddenly the teachers are learning it from there and they're making videos, right? But then it is not a magic actually. Everything is updated in the official documentation site. So even if you are also following that, you will also remain updated with the new features time to time, right? So that citations is missing. Then the second point is the raw salad, right? That means the rawness of the language, the rawness of the concepts, that is somewhat missing. Because generally what happens that since for explaining the students in very simple and lame terms, the teachers boil down the concept, they process it, and then in a cooked and format they process it, and then they serve that to the student. So in that case, what happens actually that students remain unaware of the technical terms which are getting used, the technical standards which are getting followed. So very much the students are unaware about that. So I will be keeping the rawness of the documents, the rawness of these standards and words which are followed in the documentation. So that means I will not be writing some other word for the technical words which are used. I will be using the same words and explaining you, right? So that you remain aware with the technical words. After that, the harsh reality, that is actually what happens that even if like you want to learn Python, so you can see some Python tutorial. For Java you can see some tutorial, right? But in reality, what happens when actually you're working in some company or startup and all, then you have to work on multiple projects, right? And that time regarding that project, you are not going to get any video tutorials, right? That this is the project, this problem if you're facing, how to solve that, if this error you're getting, how to resolve that. This kind of tutorials you're not going to get for the projects. In that case, what you have to do, you have to follow the documentations of the languages and tech stacks getting used, right? And then you have to read that, you have to understand that, and you have to implement that in your project, right? So end of the day, even if you fear that documentations are tough to understand, so I will avoid it, but eventually when you're getting a job, you have to face it. So it is better that you learn it from now itself. After that, uniqueness in the rat race. Okay, the rat race is like everyone is following, everyone is watching tutorials, right, learning from that. So then the question is that how you are different, right? If a company hires you, then why they should hire you? You should have some uniqueness. And what is that uniqueness? So that uniqueness you can get if you follow the official documentation, because in that case uh, you will remain very updated, and also you will have these standards in mind, right? Whenever you will write any program, you will design some modules, you will make some library, so you will know what are the standards followed, and what are the technical words used and all. So you will also be doing that, and that is how you can become unique in the rat race. After that, the language research and development skills, these things are lacking because again, since everyone watches the tutorials directly, so we don't really see the documentation, how things are noted down there, how everything is written in a very compact manner, right? From where the language started, what was the first version, slowly which features got removed, how new features got added, and how the development is happening day by day in that language only. These things we remain very much unaware of that, right? And these things are very necessary if you also want to become researcher of a language, developer of a language in future. If you want to develop a new language of yourself, then you need all these skills to have, which this official documentation can provide you. Okay. And after that, the technical vocabulary, that means if you read these documents and all, your technical words, right, which word is used for what, okay, the sentences, the technical statements, these things will become better. Okay. And these things are required because again, when you go through the research papers or some other language documentation in companies and all, then you will not face any difficulty to understand those documents, right? So these are the points actually which are overall lacking in the already available tutorials, and these are the things which I will improve in this lecture series by teaching everything with the help of the official documentation, with this exactly the by reading the sentences, explaining the words and noting it down. Okay. So now the question is that how to follow the lecture series. So the step is very simple, that you just have to watch the lecture, and then the mandatory step is that you have to read the corresponding document by yourself. Okay. So I will be reading a page explaining that, and then you need to actually read it again by yourself. Only then the process can be completed. Okay. Then what are the prerequisites? So actually nothing. If it will be better if you know the basic programming, right? How to write loops, what are data types, what are variables. If you know the basic introductions and all, which can be in any language, no matter C, C++ or Java, okay, it will be better to understand. But otherwise, if you don't know, then also it is okay. I will be explaining everything from the basic. Then coming to practicals, so although I'm saying official documentation, so it doesn't mean that everything will be only in theory. I will be just reading the documentation. It is nothing like that. We will also be having regular practicals, and in which we will solve a lot of questions. We will see multiple examples, and we will be writing multiple programs. Okay. And then when to start it? So we can start immediately, right? Um, so there's no particular time for that. There is also no prerequisite that you have to prepare something and then start. So you can start the lecture series immediately. So stay tuned with us, and I'm ending the lecture here.